Hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome. Renee Massey here, Valkyrie Mystic, coming to you live on this beautiful, magical Thursday, right? Yeah, it's Thursday. Wow, the days and the weeks are just going by so quickly, aren't they? So we are just coming out of the eclipse portal. We are still in the Samhain portal, which is going to kind of somewhat overlap a little bit with the 1111 portal that is coming up. So it's like boom, 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 lots of energy, lots of energy, lots of energy. All of these different energies mean different things. And as much as I would love to get into all of those different things today, I really, really want to talk about spirit and mediumship. Welcome, April. Thank you so much for being here. So beautiful to see your lovely face. I absolutely love the work that I do. Okay. Hello, Alexis. I love this work. It is which I live and breathe. I'm going to get into a little bit about my journey because I really want to express to all of you, what it has been like for me to be on this journey. It was not as though I all of a sudden just knew one day that I was a psychic medium. Okay. In fact, hi Shelly, hi Lisa, hi Melissa. Welcome everybody. I hope I didn't miss anybody. I don't think I did. Okay. I'm getting a super loud high pitch frequency in this ear. Okay. Spirit is with us, everybody. Where was I? Okay. So my husband and I have been together for over 20 years. And so, it's funny how a few months ago, he was actually reminding me and he said, do you remember when we were 19 years old and we were sitting on the couch and we were watching a paranormal show and you were watching a medium, connecting with the spirits of the location and you were so fascinated by it. And I actually said to him, I wish I was a psychic medium, but I'm not. Okay. So, and I'm going to kind of line up how all of this happened, right? Because it is a journey. And I think sometimes what happens is we will see other people performing, doing psychic mediumship. And if you are not feeling exactly what they're feeling, hello, Kelly, hello, Christian. If you are not feeling and seeing exactly what they are feeling and seeing, you think to yourself, well, I'm not that. I'm not good enough. And I've seen it even in some of the classes that I teach that, when we're practicing mediumship or channeling or some type of spiritual modality, some type of a practice, if somebody's not picking up on the same thing that somebody else in the class picked up on, they feel like, ooh, did I make a mistake? Am I not good enough? Am I not really a psychic medium, And the truth is that every single person is capable of tapping into spirit. Every single person is capable of picking up on energetic and psychic information. Energy is literally everywhere. And we all know this. We were all taught this in school. We were all taught that energy is everywhere. But what we were not taught in school is the different dynamics and the different types of more of a paranormal energy that is available to us all of the time that doesn't include what we were necessarily taught by our teachers in school or by your church if you grew up in the church, right? And sometimes I think that right there can absolutely block all of these different aspects of who you think you are. Hello, Chelsea. Hi, Laura. So beautiful to see you guys here. I believe that every single person has this gift. I believe that sometimes it is probably easier for certain people because they may have less blocks to it. That's the difference, is really, do you have blocks to connecting to spirit? Do you have blocks to allowing that energy to blend? Okay. And we can clear those blocks. That's the thing, because as I progressed in my own spiritual journey, which started fairly young, I was 15 when I really started to kind of push some certain things away and move towards other things that I was more gravitationally pulled towards, like astrology, chakras, energy healing, tarot cards, all of that stuff started like around the age of 15 years old. Okay. So still from all of those years thought to myself, I'm not a psychic medium. I'm not a psychic medium. I'm not a psychic medium. And a lot of the stuff of what happened was I had people who I was just talking to basically tell me that I was helping them understand more about their life, that I was helping them make better decisions just based on our conversations. And I received my degree in nutrition. And I remember as a nutritionist having clients come in and I would say things like, oh, I feel like you get a lot of headaches, or is everything okay at home? Because I feel like there's some tension there. Are you sleeping well? Because I get the feeling that you're feeling very run down and you're very tired. So I started to discover that I was really empathic, and I've always been empathic, and I always could feel different emotions, and that created other blocks in me, because sometimes when you're empathic and you're feeling everybody's emotions and you can pick up on all of the different vibrations in the energy field, it can make you feel like you want to just kind of shut down. Let me know in the comments, do you feel you are empathic? Meaning you feel things. You are a feeler. You're picking up on energetic sensations of emotions and thought forms and stuff like that. That can be very overwhelming. Okay, so it first started out with feeling like, ooh, I feel all of these things. I didn't even know what the word empath was until like 5 years ago. Okay, so my point is that I lived with a lot of gifts without actually understanding anything about them. And it wasn't until I started to invest in my gifts, to develop them more, to understand more about what they actually meant and how they wanted to work through me in particular, not how they wanted to work through some other psychic medium that's on TV, or somebody else that you've seen in a movie, or somebody else that you've read about, or somebody else who you took a class with, okay? Your gifts are your gifts, and the way that your gifts work, that's the fun part. That's so much fun, is learning how to understand those gifts and tapping into the different senses, right? So I've got all of these beautiful people saying, I'm an empath, I'm an empath, I'm an empath. You are the feelers. It doesn't mean that you only feel, but you know that you feel. And sometimes it can make you feel like you don't want to go places. You don't want to be around certain people. It can feel overwhelming. It can feel very draining because you haven't necessarily learned how to ground yourself and protect your energy to keep some of those other things out of your auric field. Okay, so there's many different steps to this. I do want to talk about like what is spirit though. Okay, before we start leaning into some of the other things that might help you understand your gifts of psychic mediumship. So what is spirit? Spirit, whenever I'm talking about like, oh my gosh, like spirit, I can just feel spirit. Spirit is very present with me right now. I can feel a lot of energy to my right side. And typically as a medium, what I'm going to suggest to you is that when you are tapping into spirit, you don't tap in through the front, because that is how we tap in psychically. All of the stuff that you are tapping into, like in the psychic field of energy, what you're picking up on and with other people or places or situations, typically you're going to tap in through the front, because that's the way that your chakras face. They face the front, right? You do have chakras in the back, but you pick up information, it's going to come in through the front. When you're tapping in mediumistically, we're going to go into the sides. So that way there is less confusion, because tapping in psychically and tapping in mediumistically are two different things. So you don't want to tap in psychically and talk about, oh, I'm getting all of these different feelings from, you know, what I perceive is to be a mother figure. And you're thinking that mother is on the other side, when mother is actually not on the other side. Mother is just going through some stuff and is very much on your sitter's mind right now. And so you may have just gotten your wires crossed a little bit by tapping in psychically when you wanted to tap in mediumistically. To really kind of cut to the chase and eliminate any of the wires getting crossed up here, you're going to tap in through the side. Now here's the deal. This is very much brain stuff. This is incredibly powerful, like what you are doing with your brain, how your brain is working, how your brain is picking up on information, receiving, perceiving, translating, and providing a message for someone. So what I'm going to teach you is to how to get very, very clear on how those messages are coming through for you. Are they coming through your senses where you feel them? Are they coming through clairvoyantly where you're seeing them in your mind's eye? Are you picking up on things, words, different things that are being told to you that is kind of streaming through your consciousness and you can hear them from within? Is there just like a knowing, where you're just like, I don't know where it's coming from, but I just know this to be true, right? So there's different ways that we tap in. Hi, Amy. Kelly, I do this and am an RN. A medium once told me not to be a nurse because I took too much in as an empath. So I gave up psychic growth to stay in medicine. I think that, first of all, Kelly, I feel like I would never put another psychic medium down. I'm not here to judge anybody. Every person picks up on different information. I feel as though you're blocking something within yourself because you are naturally psychic medium. You are naturally a psychic medium. And when we block a part of our authenticity, it can block a bunch of other stuff from coming into our life. And I've actually worked with a lot of different people in the healthcare industry, okay? I have worked with doctors, I have worked with nurses, I have worked with surgeons, I have worked with people who are incredibly gifted, who work in healthcare. And I think that a lot of people who are very sensitive energetically and spiritually tend to gravitate towards healthcare, not just because of, I'll make more money as a doctor or I'll make more money as a surgeon, but I think there is, not that there are definitely people that choose it because of that, but I think there is this overall bottom line for most healthcare practitioners, and that is that they really want to help people. So to me, that's like a huge sign of empathy and people that have empathic gifts. And I do believe that there is a way for you to continue moving forward with the development of your gifts and also learning how to properly ground and protect your energy from taking on other people's stuff. Okay, because I've been doing this work. First of all, I started this work over 25 years ago. I've been doing it professionally for probably about 5 years, and what I mean is like professionally, like this is all that I do. For many years, it was like a side thing, doing readings for friends, coworkers, certain family members. And, it was like a side thing that I did because I wasn't ready to take ownership of my gifts. What I'm saying to everybody right now is take ownership of your gifts. This is the time. It's like we have so much incredible energy that's happening right now where it's like, oh my gosh, we had this crazy eclipse portal. We had the Samhain portal, which is, Halloween. We have the 11/11 portal coming up. There are so many things that are happening right now, energetically, cosmically. The veil is still very, very thin between the worlds. Spirit is very much present, okay? Back to what spirit actually means. And I hope that makes sense to you. Kelly, because I really feel like you shouldn't ignore the development of your gifts over medicine. I think that you can actually do both and be very successful at both, okay? So spirit is a collective of consciousness that doesn't have a physical form. And so I want you to imagine how energy is literally everywhere, right? Energy is absolutely everywhere. Hi, Tim. Energy is everywhere. And in fact, your eyes are only capable of perceiving about 7% of what is in your physical surroundings. So it's based on how your rods and cones in your eye pick up on what basically is reflected by the light. 93% of what is in your physical surroundings is not detected. Well, it's non-physical, so it's not even detected by the light. It is not detected by the rods and cones that are in your eyes. Therefore, does not necessarily have anything to bring up here to translate. So if you are living in a very physical reality, aka the 3D, then you are only perceiving the physical reality based on your 5 physical senses. I don't live like that. I've never lived like that. And I didn't know that this was something that was unique to me, okay? I do believe that everybody has this ability, but I didn't realize how not everybody was picking up on the things that I was picking up on. That not everybody was feeling what I was feeling. Not everybody was getting the senses and seeing things and hearing things and experiencing things the way that I was experiencing them. And I just thought that like this was the normal. I didn't know that there was anything different about me. I do believe that this is completely normal, but to most of the people, especially different places that I've worked and different people that I've known and different family members, they were not picking up on the same things that I was picking up on. So I think what happens is you start to kind of pull back and you don't want to not fit in. You don't want to be necessarily the odd person out, the black sheep, the outsider, the outcast of your family or friend group or your workplace group either. So you probably have tried to blend in more so that way you don't stick out like a sore thumb, especially when you're not ready to take ownership of them. And typically you're not ready to take ownership because you don't understand them. And it makes perfect sense for you not to take ownership of something that you don't understand. If you don't even want to take ownership of probably a shitty mood because you may not understand why you're in a shitty mood. And if you don't understand why you're in a shitty mood and somebody says, why are you in such a shitty mood? You might say to yourself, I'm not. And then you might think to yourself, am I in a shitty mood? Why am I in a shitty mood? You might be in total denial about your mood because you don't even understand how you got there. You know what I mean? So how are you supposed to take ownership of something that is so much bigger and has so much more impact on your life versus a mood? Like, this is built into you. This is part of who you are. It is in your hardwiring. It is in your DNA. It's just that some people will not pay attention to it, and there's other people who will and want to develop it, want to understand it, want to do something with it, and want to actually work with it and earn an income with it, helping other people grow and find their own path and their own purpose, right? So it's like we're in this massive awakening on this earth. Pay attention to what's going on in the world, guys. Things are changing. We are in the midst of a massive paradigm shift. Okay. And so we, as the psychic mediums of the world who have been seen as weird or evil or occultish or whatever the hell they say about us, this is your happy place, because I will never judge you for your gifts. I will never say like, oh, that's really fucking weird. Like, to me, this is the coolest shit ever, because once I started really embracing these aspects of who I am and starting to develop them more, understand them more, work with them more, things started to really drastically change in my own life in terms of getting more clarity on my own decisions, feeling more confident about doing something that I was probably afraid of doing, knowing truly in the depths of my soul that I am never alone, that there is always somebody to talk to, because spirit is around me all the time. And whether it be your angels, your spirit guides, your galactic family, ascended masters, deceased loved ones on the other side, there's a lot of energy around you at all times that is always constantly available to you. But because you don't see it, or somebody else doesn't see it, that tends to be the more, I think sometimes it's like other people aren't seeing it, other people aren't experiencing it, so I must be crazy, right? Tell me if you felt like you were crazy. Tell me if you have experiences that have made you think like, I'm freaking nuts. This is impossible. Like, how could this be? My brain must be playing tricks on me. My imagination must be doing crazy, wild things. Because I will tell you that when a psychic medium is doing a reading, her brain or his brain is functioning at 80% capacity. That is a lot of energy pouring through. And that is why we tend to get tired afterwards. This is why I don't do more than probably 3 to 4 sessions a day. Because I know that anything over that, I am compromising my well-being. I'm compromising my brain health, my physical health, my mental, emotional health, my spiritual health. Like, I have to recharge. And because I'm pushing so much energy through my body in my readings, right? So yeah, how many times have you thought to yourself, this sounds batshit crazy? I still say that to myself, even though I know that I'm not batshit crazy. It's still this thing that my ego is like, no way. And that's the biggest thing. Your ego is not just looking for attention and drama and different things like that. It's also trying to keep you safe and prevent you from getting hurt. So it's like we have to kind of override a barrier. The ego does create a massive filter, a barrier in your brain from doing what it wants to do naturally, which is create and be imaginative and actually expand in consciousness in all of these different areas to blend with all of these other different energies. Your ego in place, part of the physical reality, the 3D world that we live in, that filter is in place to make sure that you come first. That filter is in place to make sure that you are always paying attention to you, right? And so when you're doing this work, sometimes your brain is going to say, nope, go away. Nope. And that's what we override. We're overriding that system to help you recognize that you are not actually in danger, okay? That you are protected, that you are working under the guidance and the umbrella of your administering angels and your guides and all of your guardians and protectors, okay? So there, when you're working with spirit, you really don't have anything to be afraid of. You're just working with a collective consciousness that is kind of like an ocean. I think of spirit as like an ocean. You know how there's like so many different things in the ocean? There's such a variety of species, and you know what I mean? There's just so much going on in the ocean. And when you're at the surface of the water, you can't see what's all in there, right? But it is, and they're all connected through the water. So it's kind of like that. It's kind of like this sea of consciousness that is filled with all of these non-physical beings, these different souls, these different beings that are capable of communicating with you, okay? So as a medium, what I do is I create a link, okay? Let's think about this like a link. So you're creating a link with spirit. And when you create a link, you can create like a nice little loose link with spirit, and that means that I can just kind of intuitively tap in. Like I know that there's a female in here with me right now who has blonde hair and it's kind of pinned up, and I know that she has really pretty blue eyes. She has lovely laugh lines, you know, like you can tell that she was a very happy person when she was alive. She's wearing a pink dress, and she just has this overall like very caring, kind, compassionate energy. She feels like she wants to take care of people. You know, so I can say right now, like I can feel who's in this space with me. I can't tell you exactly who it is right now. If she's one of yours, let me know if this sounds familiar to you. I'm happy to make the connection. But the point is that, you know, there's always a connection to be made. Now, I can intuitively tap into that, which I'm creating just a very loose link. I can create a really tight link and actually go into physical mediumship or trance-like mediumship. So, you know, you can establish just how far you want to go with that. You have to do what is best for you. And I would say not to necessarily go straight into physical mediumship or trance without having some type of proper professional training, which I have received. I worked with Lisa Williams. I took her trance class. It was a 6-month, like really deep immersive class with a 4-day workshop. It was freaking amazing. I've also worked with Cindy Keza, who is featured on Travel Channel and does Dead Files now, was in the Holzer Files, and she does a lot of different shock docs with, what's his name? Something Shippy, who's really great too. So all of the training that I've received has helped me to really understand, because it's not just being like, oh yeah, I can tap into spirit. It's really understanding what you are doing. And that's what I really want to teach everybody, is when you have a better understanding of spirit and you understand what you are actually doing as the vessel, and that you have so much more control than you think you do, because you do. You're in control. Nobody is just going to jump inside of your body without you giving them permission to, okay? Nobody is going to blend into your consciousness and use you as a mouthpiece without you giving permission to, okay? And there are such mediums out there that don't want to communicate with people who have been murdered, or people who have died tragically, or children who have crossed over. You don't have to work with all of those different kinds of beings. You can work with whoever you want to work with. And amen. And so I want you to know too that you have the ability to use this in your healing work. And that is self-healing, and as well as like helping to heal other people. And we are not, as healers, we are actually just providing the high vibration of energy for those who need the healing to take that energy in and heal from within. They are responsible for how they use that energy. You are not responsible for how they use the energy. You are there to simply provide the energy, okay? And being somebody who is aware of spirit and the different levels of spirit, and working in that field of spirit, you can pull certain beings forward to aid you in your healing work on yourself or on other people. So I am a Reiki master teacher, Yusui Tibetan, and Holy Fire, and I will absolutely say that when I'm doing my healing work, energetic balancing, clearings, whatever it is that person needs at that time, I pull in different beings that want to be there. If I am working on, like, it really, and it's different for each person too. Sometimes an Arcturian steps forward, and Arcturians are a star race from these system of Arcturus, and they are very, very, very powerful healers that are absolutely interdimensional. They exist in the higher dimensions. So when they come in and they have a bluish color to them, let me know if you're familiar with them and if you've worked with them before. I am not Arcturian, but I have worked with the Arcturians. And so I let them come in, I allow their energy to blend through mine, and I push that through my hands into the recipient. So practicing mediumship is not just about being in front of a group of people and being like, okay, I've got a guy over here, and this is what he looks like, and this is what he's saying, and blah, 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 and connecting that. It's a very beautiful way to do it. I actually have an event tomorrow night that I'm doing, and that's exactly how I will be doing it. Whoever steps forward, whoever wants to talk and present themselves to me, I'm going to convey that to the group of people in front of me and hopefully make a connection and provide a message for that person. And there's other ways to do mediumship. You can do group events. You can do singular services where you just have somebody book you for a mediumship session. You can use it in healing. You can just use it for yourself because you want to actually connect with loved ones on the other side. So for those of you who have kind of understood a little bit more about what, has been going on in my life, my stepdad passed away at the beginning of this month, and it was... Okay, let me tell you right from the beginning how all of this happened. My birthday's October 3rd. I got a call on October 2nd that my stepdad had passed. And what's interesting though is that evening, so October 2nd, that evening, it was probably a little after 8 o'clock. In the evening, I got in the shower, and when I got out of the shower and I, put my PJs on and I was doing like my face lotion, brushing my teeth, and I could feel a male presence. I knew it, but I did not pull it in. I did not ask anything. I was like, come on, I'm busy. I don't want to do this right now. This is not what I'm here for right now. So I just kept doing my own thing. But I actually made like a joke to the spirit because I was like, really, dude, nothing better to do. You must have something you really want to share with me. And I left it at that. Okay. Big energy. I just knew it was big energy and it was a male presence. I go into my room. My phone is ringing on my nightstand. It's my sister, and she says that her dad passed away. Instant shock. Just instant shock. It was sudden. It was not expected. It was, it's still really hard. Okay. So that's the process, right? There's the physical aspect of grief and loss, and that is what I experience, and that is what you experience when you've lost people as well. I knew almost immediately that the spirit that I encountered in the bathroom was him. Okay. And then from that point on, as soon as I tapped in and I was like, okay, let's talk, what happened, and I'm feeling into different things. First of all, I feel it was his heart. I also felt that when he transitioned very, very quickly. I felt that his soul left his body immediately, and that he was absolutely like flying, you know what I mean? Just zooming, and so happy to be free out of his physical vessel. I felt him so strongly giving me messages, which I passed on to my sister. The night before his services, I channeled a message from him to her. We have both felt him so significantly. And I will say though, in the past week, I have felt him kind of pull back a little bit. So after they cross over, you might feel like a really strong presence of those loved ones. Oh my gosh, it feels like they're still here. I can kind of smell them. I can hear them. I could hear him in my ear so clearly. And then it started to fade a little bit and a little bit and a little bit. Well, they are busy too, and time and space doesn't work the same way on that side that it does on this side. So that's okay, Janice. You can start over. You can go back to the beginning. But the point is that he's off doing what he needs to do as a soul, and all souls have evolution. Every soul is in an ongoing process of growth and development and healing. And coming into this life, we all have these soul contracts. And we're all learning from each other. We're all connected to each other through this learning process. Okay? So I want you to, first of all, take out of your mind whatever you felt you were supposed to be as a medium or a psychic or both. Okay? A psychic, a medium, a healer. I'm just going to, like that to me, I'm going to cover all of the bases. Hi, Kim. Hi, Sylvia. Lovely to see you here today. Amber, my son saw my dad the next day. He was with him as we walked to school. He hasn't seen him since. Yeah, oh my gosh. So, and thank you, Lisa. Thank you guys. Yes, they're still like, they've crossed over, right? But there's still this essence of them that is very present. Okay. And then after a few weeks, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, I think it might be a little different for certain souls, but, I felt like, okay, he's now moving on to the next phase of his journey, and he is now working with his soul family and doing other things. Okay. So, there's a lot of times that I've had clients come in and they felt that very strong presence of their loved ones. And then all of a sudden they were like, oh my God, where did they go? Oh my God, I can't feel them. I can't feel them. I can't feel them. They're fine. That's okay, Sylvia. You're good. Hello, Haley. The point is that they're still there. But just like you have to go to work, or your kids have to go to school, you have to go grocery shopping, you have errands to run, and you have to get your oil changed. And, there's all these different things that you do too. And they're busy. Yes, they have things to do. They are evolving souls. And that evolution is a beautiful thing. And what we get to do is we get to experience it. We get to be a part of it. We get to receive the wisdom, the comfort, the validation, the motivation, the inspiration, the hope, the wisdom, the love, the healing, whatever. I may have repeated some things, but it's because I'm very passionate. And they're all wanting to let us know that they are here. They are here, they are here, they are here. So I want you to know that, like, even if you decide that you don't want to do this professionally, you can still do this just for you, so that you can connect deeper into the spiritual realms, to connect with your loved ones on the other side, to start really bridging that gap between you and perhaps your spirit guides or your angels, or if you're a starseed, your galactic family. They are all around you. They love you. They care about you. They want to help you. They respect our free will, because we are not here they can't give us all the answers all the time, right? The only real time that I feel that, light beings intervene is when there is something in your contract that kind of pops up that's not supposed to be there. Like if you all of a sudden, instead of going left, you go right, and you step in front of a bus and you weren't ever supposed to step in front of that bus, there will be some type of an intervention to protect you from, probably being hurt or killed, So, but they have to respect our free will as humans. And we come in with these contracts, we have a memory in spirit, and then when we ground into the 3D realm, we forget. Why do we forget? Why do we forget what the fuck we came here for, right? It's maddening, isn't it, to have to spend all of this time remembering how powerful you are, and how beautiful you are, and how wonderful you are, and how capable you are, and how gifted you are, and all the different things that you are, but you forgot. But if you knew everything that was going to happen, and you knew all of the sadness and all of the tragedy and all of the challenges and all of the hurdles and all of the things that were going to have to teach you hard lessons along the way to evolve your soul, first of all, if you knew all the things, you probably wouldn't ever leave your house. You probably would just stay there and be depressed, because I don't think anybody wants to have all of those answers. But as a psychic medium, what I provide is clarity, understanding, validation, opportunity, because a lot of times you're looking over here at these little things and you're missing out on all of this shit over here. There's all this stuff over here, and you didn't even know it existed, because all you can see and all you can think about and all you can understand is what's right here. And you're missing out on 99% of what else is available to you. So this is when you have to ask yourself, what am I ready for? What do I see myself doing, in 6 months or a year from now? Where do I want to be? How do I want to feel? What kind of spiritual connections do I want to have? How deep, how far do I want to take this journey? I know for me, I'm just never going to stop learning and growing and healing and developing and expanding, because that's just who I am. I played with fairies as a small child and elementals. I work a lot with elementals. It's just a very natural thing for me. I will tell you that also my father bought a house that was built in the 1700s, and he is a contractor and renovated the whole freaking thing. And I was terrified of that place because there were so many spirits. And that's when I was probably around I would say 8 to 10 years old. That place scared the ever-loving shit out of me. I felt like I was always being watched. And I didn't know I had the power to say, hi, how are you? And please leave me alone because you're scaring me. So it's learning about how it teaches you more about yourself. It teaches you what you're capable of. You're going to push yourself out of your comfort zone, because you can't grow without doing any of that stuff anyway. Yes, we are all teachers and students. Absolutely. Every single one of us, we're all teachers and students to each other. And I've learned and I teach, and I want to teach so that others learn and that they can teach as well. And this is how we share, and this is how we grow, and this is how we evolve, and this is how we expand, right? So I went from working with light beings and elementals to being encountered by spirits in an old haunted house, to then kind of pushing it all away because it scared the crap out of me, then to believing that I never had the gift to begin with because I didn't look like Whoopi Goldberg in Ghost, or Jennifer Love Hewitt in The Ghost Whisperer, or Patricia Arquette in Medium, and so on and so on and so on. And then I started realizing, actually, I do have these gifts. They just don't look the same as all of those other people. And it was time for me to explore what that actually meant for myself. Okay, so I want you to know that the class that I'm going to be teaching, which is Mediumship Development Circle, begins next Thursday, a week from today. It is going to be a 6-week series class. Okay, and I'm going to give you a little bit more information about that if you are interested in signing up. And I do want to leave you with one more story because, so I have a private coaching client that I'm working with, okay? And this happened to me yesterday, never happened to me before, okay? So I'm doing some energy work on my coaching client, and all of a sudden I started to feel that there was a deity that was coming in. Now, this was a deity that I had never encountered before, never knew, never saw, never understood, nothing. Okay, so all I could do was just describe what I was seeing. And so I told my client, I'm seeing a female come forward. She has 3 arms on each side. She has slanted eyes, so I believe that she is possibly of Asian origin. She has markings on her forehead and a headpiece. She had different messages to relay, which I provided for my client. And after I was done with the energy work, he was like, who is that? And I was like, I have no idea. I've never encountered this deity before, ever. But I felt like she was more of an Asian deity, and I'm not very familiar with Asian deities, to be completely honest. I'm European, Celtic, Druid, Norse, Native American, lots of Mesoamerican, lots of others, but not necessarily of Asian origin. So I was like, yeah, I kind of feel at a disadvantage here because I don't know who this is. So an hour or so goes by and I get a text and he sends me a link, like a Wikipedia link to this particular deity. And he was like, is this her? And I was like, oh my God, yes, that's her. And she ended up being the goddess of abundance, prosperity, and wealth. And I was just so surprised. Okay. I was very surprised. I was taken a little bit aback that this deity reached out to me. I was completely unfamiliar with her. I just trusted what I was seeing because, think about this. Now you're connecting with the spirit, right? You're blending with the energy of a spirit. And you're feeling into, I'm a seer, a feeler, I'm a knower and a hearer too, but I would say that my first senses are to see and to feel, okay? So I'm seeing a 6-armed woman. Okay? Now, part of me is thinking to myself, are you batshit crazy, Renee? What, have you lost your minds? Am I going to tell this person that I have a 6-armed woman here that wants to talk to you? And you know what? I did. Because I've learned that it's none of my business what comes through. It's my job to let my client or my student know what's showing up. It is not my job to necessarily analyze it or pick it apart or make it seem like something else other than what is absolutely coming through in that moment. Okay? Because you're going to feel things, you're going to see things, you're going to hear things. There's going to be things that are presented to you that you're going to be like, this doesn't make any sense. I must be out of my mind. But you're not out of your mind. Whatever comes through, just say it. I'm going to teach you how to build confidence and trust in that whole arena. It's our job to share what we see. Exactly. So the 6-armed woman that I was like, what's this about? Actually turned out to be the golden nugget of information that we had been working on for the past few weeks. And there she was. And I shit you not, she showed up to me multiple times in the days that led up to that. But I didn't necessarily give her a lot of time because I didn't have a lot of time, but because I was like, who is this woman that I keep seeing? Who is this woman that I keep seeing? I couldn't see her arms at that point when it was like really just her face that I was seeing at first. And then when I was doing the energy work on my client, I saw like the full figure of her. And it took me a hot minute to realize that she was also the headpiece and the face and, this part of her was already showing up days before that session. So I'm going to say right now that the possibilities are completely endless. The opportunities are completely endless. The potential of what you can do is completely endless. Okay. And the biggest problem is going to be your belief in yourself. And if you are ready to kind of push the envelope, step out of the comfort zone and start practicing your mediumship, learning about how to link in, build your evidence, make that connection, present the information, then, Mediumship Development Circle starts next Thursday. So we are doing a 6-week series, okay? And I'm just going to run down the dates, and I'm going to run down what I'm teaching in each class. Each class is 2 hours. The first hour is going to be lecture. I am going to be teaching you a variety of different things. The second hour is going to be us working together and practicing and honing our skills. Because guess what? If you don't practice, you don't get better. You cannot just sit there and be like, okay, I have learned about mediumship. I am a medium. There are a lot of things to learn. And it's just based on experience. And I love watching people figure things out based on their experiences. Because you'll say, oh, I remember seeing this or feeling this. And you're going to make those connections. The more you practice, the better you get, the more confident you are, and the bigger and better your skills are going to be that you can serve for other people and for yourself as well. Okay, class number 1, next Thursday, November 9th. 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern, all via Zoom. All the classes are via Zoom. All the classes are 6 to 8 p.m. All the classes are on a Thursday. We are going to go through understanding spirit, understanding spiritualism, the spiritualism movement, the roots of spiritualism, and how to connect with spirit. Okay? Class number 2 on November 16th, 6 to 8 p.m. Sensing spirit and accessing your clairs, clairvoyance, clairaudience, claircognizance, clairsentience. We have the week off for Thanksgiving. Hard to believe we're even talking about Thanksgiving. November 30th, 6 to 8 p.m. Linking in and building your evidence. So I'm going to teach you how to create that link with spirit, how to feel into it, how to trust that connection, and then how to gather the evidence from spirit. Evidential mediumship is gathering evidence. That's what we're going to be doing, okay? On December 7th, 6 to 8 p.m., delivering the messages. We are going to practice delivering those messages, how they come through. Am I seeing it, feeling it, hearing it, or just a knowing of that? And how to tie it together so that your client can understand it, or so you can just understand it for yourself. And then, then December 14th, trusting spirit, building confidence. because that is a really important thing, is you have to trust Spirit. If you don't trust Spirit, your readings are going to suck. I hate to break it to you. That's just a reality. If you don't build a loving friendship, a really strong, beautiful relationship with Spirit, Spirit wants to trust you. Spirit trusts you. Spirit wants to be that trusting friend and say, like, I'm going to give you all these messages because I know you're going to deliver them in the right way, and you're doing a beautiful service, right? So Spirit wants to trust you. You have to trust Spirit. Okay, it's going to be a lot easier for Spirit to trust you. It might be a little bit harder for you to trust Spirit, but that's why we're going over it and learning about it and learning how to do it with a series of different techniques and methods that I have learned, okay? And building that confidence, which is going to make you feel so much more empowered to deliver the messages that come through to you. And then finally, December 21st, right before Christmas, it is on the solstice, we are going to be going over the ethics and responsibility of mediumship. Okay, so again, all of these classes, we're practicing all of these classes, but these are the different lectures that are going to be, that I'm going to be teaching you throughout those different classes, okay? No, not in January yet. I haven't done anything actually, I'm starting different classes in January. So all of these are for November 9th, 16th, and 30th. December 7th, 14th, and 21st, 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern, all via Zoom. Recordings are available for all of the class members if you cannot be present for that class, okay? Because I have people who are in the Spiritual Platinum Pass that have automatic entry into all of these classes. If you want to know more about the Spiritual Platinum Pass, please message me or put something in the comments for me to reach out to you, because you're basically saving a lot of money on all of the classes that I'm going to teach for a full year, instead of paying for each class individually. Just putting that out there. I am not going to be offering the Spiritual Platinum Pass probably again for the rest of the year. If you are interested now, I will offer it now, but that will probably be it till 2024. 2024, that's a weird thing to say. Okay, so the regular price for this class is $777. Okay, I'm going to offer a 24-hour special of $555. It has to be, you have to buy it within the next 24 hours. You can do a single payment of $555, or you can do 2 installments of $280. Okay, if you sign up for the $555 in the next 24 hours, you not only have access to my Mediumship Development Circle, but you will also have access to the class that I already taught, Psychic Circle. You will get the 6-part series, all of the recordings that I taught for just psychic development. And the value of that was $666. Okay? So you're going to get over $1,300 worth of material in classes. If you sign up within the next 24 hours, you get Mediumship Development Circle, you get Psychic Development Circle, and those are all of the recordings from the 6-part series that I taught in the summer. I think it was in July. I think I taught it in July and August. And that was oh my God, it was a fan-freaking-tastic class. Like, we did so much in that class with scanning and remote viewing. And I mean, we did a lot in that class. And I watched everybody grow so much. This is why I love teaching. I take you from the beginning where you're kind of like, I'm not sure. And then I push you a little bit to go a little deeper, go a little deeper, go a little deeper, feel it out, feel it out, feel it out. And then all of a sudden you're like, boom, 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 boom. And you're trusting yourself. It's a huge, beautiful, amazing, powerful thing. So that's what we're looking at right now. After 24 hours, so by tomorrow at 2:00 in the afternoon, the price goes back up to $777. Okay? And class starts on Thursday, next Thursday, November 9th, 6 to 8 p.m. We're going to have so much fun. I'm so freaking excited to teach this class. I am so excited to teach you how to step into your mediumship power and discover more about what your gifts are really trying to teach you about who you are. Because taking ownership of my gifts, starting my business, taking it to 6 figures, working with thousands of people. I offer retreats now. I just did my 3rd retreat. We went to Sedona. I offer courses, classes, memberships, packages, mentorship, private coaching. I offer so many different things because I have been in business now for 3+ years, and it has expanded and expanded and expanded and expanded. And I even, after 2 years of doing just complete virtual, I opened up my first location. So you know what I mean? Like, trust me when I tell you, you are capable of growth. You are capable of so much. And I know that you're ready for the next level. I know that you're ready. So I want to let you know that I'm here to chat with you. I'm here to talk. I'm here to answer any questions that you might have. And I'm definitely here to get you registered and signed up for next week. So everybody, I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day. If I don't talk to you tomorrow, then I hope you have a great weekend. Happy November. And then the next thing we're going to be getting ready for is the 1111 portal, which I am going to be teaching Melchizedek Method 5 in the middle of that portal starting on next Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So many amazing things going on, so many big shifts, so many changes, so much evolution, so much growth, so much development. It's like freaking amazing. Clear out your crap. Get ready for some big shifts, everyone. So I love you all. Have a beautiful day. Mwah. Bye for now.